I just want to remind you that this Wednesday is an important day because we have that Mexican consulate coming here Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. People need to call to the consulate to make appointment. I think they have a lot of people already signed up, and there will be around 500 people this week here in this building. It's a great opportunity to let them know that there is a church here that care about them, not just in a spiritual way, but also we are an open door for them as a community too. If you have some time to come here, you can come and help us. And we will have one booth there with church information, just in case the people want to know more about us as a church. Also, the Noah's Ark. How many remember the Noah's Ark dinner? Okay, who don't know what is Noah's Ark dinner? Okay, well, you know the Noah's Ark dinner, that will be this Friday. You want, but you don't have it. You want to dress as a donkey, it's yours, you visit, but now you can choose your favorite animal and you can customize them and enjoy the dinner. It's only $10 for a plate, and it can be a married couple, can be a boyfriend, can be friends, just friends or co-workers. You need to bring someone else to that night, and that will be awesome. That we have some games, we have a devotional, we have a dinner. That will be a really, really good evening. $10, and you didn't sign up, you talk to me at the end of the service, and I will say you. Amen. Remember last Sunday we started preaching about a new series. It's called Agape, the love of Agape, is because February is called the month of love and friendship. Isn't it that when people said, okay, we have to go to dinner, and they prepare everything, and that's what we're going to continue today. But we are talking more about those who are in more serious relationship. And actually, they can be a friendship, can be a married couple, can be a boyfriend and girlfriend, because all those relationships have to be basic on respect. And that's what Ephesians chapter 5, 21 to 33 teach us about respect in the relationship. And remember last week we used 1 Corinthians chapter 13 for our teaching, where we learned that love is not something that we have to practice just for ourselves. Love has to be something that we practice in community. And we know that love is respect. Love always give up, no keep record for errors. Actually, we have here the Bible verses from Corinthians 13, and we reviewed this. And today, like I said, we're going to start in Ephesians chapter 5, 21 to 33. And it helps us, how can we preserve our love for the person that we love for a long time. You see many relationships those days, they have like a goal. Okay, if we, maybe we can have 1 year or 2 years, and the third year they got scared and they got divorced. And not many relationships get to the goal of 50 years old, like John and Sandy. I think Bali is Jim to 50 years of marriage. It's hard to hear that with the younger generation, but it's possible. And the Bible teaches us how we can do this. In Ephesians chapter 5, verse 21 and to 25, Paul starts writing for those who are married. And some men, when read this Bible verse, they feel like a Tarzan. They say, oh, I wrote the word because this word not for me. And they say, submit one to another out of reverence for Christ. Wives, submit yourself to your husband as you do to the Lord. For the husband is the head of the wife of the church, as Christ is the head of the church, which is his Savior. Now, as the church submits to Christ, so also wives should submit to their husband in everything. See, and then the husband always push the, why is it here? Is it? Is it what the Bible says? And the feminist movement hate those Bible verses. Oh, this is impossible. This God is not open my God, you know. But the most important thing of this Bible verses is not about who is in charge. It's about the first part of this Bible verse. It's submit one and another. This is what it's about. Even if the Bible, yes, we know, yes, we understand that was written in the patriarchal society. But what is important is when we see our partner, when we see our companion, when we see our spouse, and in one level, we start having peace in our heart, having peace in our family, and we can build a long-range relationship. Because it's not about hierarchy, it's about the functionality. It's about that we're working together. It's about that I submit to you because I love you, because I know the decision that you make will be in favor of me. And the other partner said, yes, I do the same because I know that you are also watching about me too. You see, both renounce to their rights and put away those rights and say, this is not about me, it's about us. And we walk this journey together. And together we started, together we finish. And it doesn't matter who got the credit. It doesn't matter who take the lead. Oh, it has to be the man. Yes, sometimes. Sometimes it's the wife. You know, in my case, can I be personal here? You allow me? Yes? Yes? In my case, when I got my money, I just give it to my wife. And she take care of all my accountability because I don't know anything about bills, I don't know anything about that, but she did a great job. When I was doing that, always had to pay $40 extra because I forgot the due date. Oh, I sort of forgot. Pay extra money. But she take care of that because she is good at that. And I say, okay, you lead in that way. You see, it's not about who wins sometimes. It's about we. And this is what love it is about. And we learned that last week. It's not about me. It's not about my name. It's about we as a marriage. It's about we as a family. It's about we as a family of Christ. Because if you feel so strong, man, in this Bible verse, that you rule the world, look what the next Bible verse says, 25 says. You say, husband, love your wife, just as Christ loved the church, and gave himself up for her to make her holy. And you know what Christ did for his church? He died. He was nailed at the cross. He was willing to give his life for his church. Now, husband, if you feel that you are powerful, that you are in charge, you have to be willing to die for your wife. You have to be willing to die for your the person who is next to you and walking that journey in life. You have to be willing to sacrifice your life for your family. Because you are not alone. You are not alone. Now you walk with your wife, you walk with the person that you love. Because that's the promise that we made in the altar. And the Bible says, cleanse her by the washing with water through the word and pressing her to himself as a radiant church without stain or wrinkle or any other blemish, but holy and blameless. You know, Jesus wants to presume his church. He wants to say, look, this is my wife. This is the church. Always respect it. He gives honor to his church. This is the way that we should show love to our wife and wives to their husband. Hey, look, this is my husband. This is the best husband in the world. Look how hard he works. Look how hard he worked. How hard he worked to make me laughing sometimes. Even though he doesn't have any mercy. It's not funny. He worked hard. And the husband, look at my wife. It's the most beautiful woman that I find in the whole world. It's here, and she chose me. Because you want to imitate what Jesus is doing for his church. He died for her. He presumed about his church. Verse 28 says, "In the same way, husbands ought to love their wife as their own bodies. He who loves his wife loves himself. After all, no one ever hates their own body, but they feed it and care for their body. Jesus Christ does the church, for we are members of his body." Do you remember this Bible verse when you came to the altar? And the Bible said, okay, now you are ready to take this woman as a wife? Yes, I do. You take this man as a husband? Yes, I want to. And that day we say, well, you become just one flesh. And that is not just another ritual. It's a really our team. We are just one. That's why your win is my win. Your loss is my loss. This is important. That's why here Paul, even he was accused that he was in favor of the feminists. He said, "Hey husband, if you love your wife, you're telling me that you love yourselves. Because you are just one. You are not two. You are just one person now." Because this is what the Bible says. Paul is still saying, "For this reason a man will leave his father and mother and be united to his wife, and the two will become one flesh." This is a profound mystery, but I am talking about Christ and the church. However, each one of you also must love his wife as he loves himself, and the wife must respect her husband. This is wonderful. Because if we want to have a long-range marriage, respect has to be the high word. The highest word. Love means respect. Love is not just a feeling. Love is not just emotions. Love is practical. And you practice love when you respect your partner. That's the way that you say, "I love you," because I renounce to my right to respect yours. That's why from these two Bible verses, we have two things very important. One is to submit one another. Verse 25 says, "Husband, love your wife, just as Christ loved the church, and give yourselves up for her to make her holy." Submit to her. Submit to him. Mutual submission is what the Lord is looking for, a healthy marriage, for a healthy relationship, for a healthy friendship. Everywhere, any relationship that we are into has to be basic in respect. Not only marriage, but if you are single but you work, you have to respect your company. You cannot write it down in your Facebook, "Hey, I hate my company, I hate my boss, I don't want to be here." And then you're expecting him to extend your hand and receive your check. Respect is the basic things in every relationship. You cannot expect to have a happy family, a happy marriage, and you are talking bad on the back of your wife or back of your husband. You have to show some respect. Respect is respect is what God is expecting from us. Mutual respect. Verse 23 says, "However, each of you also must love his wife as he loves himself, and the wife must respect the husband." And this is a very specific way how the culture of that time showed love. And the way the women showed love to their husband was because respect him. Actually, the women at that time, they don't call their husband by their name. They call my Lord, I am your servant. Well, I know this is not right today. See, I am your slave. See. But they show respect, said, you are the one that I decide to be with. And the Bible, even that kind of culture was so patriarchal. The Bible teaches us one example for one man who was really powerful, who was seen by everyone, but he didn't follow the rules of the culture at that time. And he showed respect and love for his wife, even though the culture at that time didn't show any respect for her. And that was Elkanah and Hannah. Those are the parents of Samuel. See, this is a great example how a man loves and respects his wife. Because Elkanah, like I said, was a very well-known and wealthy man. And people respect him. And the condition that he left, that condition, he was married with Hannah. With Hannah was sterile. She could not have children. And in that culture, women are like a children factory. They were important because they had to conceive children, and they expected for male children, not women. And Elkanah had the power to give letter or divorce to Hannah because she is not worth it. She's not going to give me any son. People have to respect me because I will have someone who inherits all my wealthy. But you, Hannah, cannot give me any. But he wasn't like that. Because Elkanah was a man who not just loved God, but he loved his wife. And he showed that in a practical way. Elkanah was a man who not only claimed to believe in God, but in his daily life, he showed it with his actions. The circumstances of his wife's sterility did not make him change his love for her. Sometimes the circumstances changes when you met your wife or you met your husband. Before you're married, you are happy, and when you get married, something changes. And you cannot just run away. Oh, I thought that was different. Now you have to deal. You have to test your words and test your faith. And put your words and your action, align it with God. And work out with that. Elijah understood this. Understood that love of his wife went beyond of any satisfaction of having children and be recognized with people. Oh, this is your heritage. Oh, this is your son. Oh, this just looks like you. Yes. And he's very smart like me. He cannot start being proud, walking around his community, but he said, I don't care about that. Because my feelings, my emotions, my love for my wife is more important what the people can say about me. Because I love and I respect my wife and I be happy with her. Verse 7 and 8 from Samuel chapter 1 says, whenever Hannah went up to the house of the Lord, her rival provoked her. She wept and would not eat. You know, Elkanah has 2 wives. You are not allowed to have 2 wives, by the way. That wasn't the culture at that time. But this man has 2, and the other wife said, hey, you cannot have children. I am better than you. And that provoked a heart broken for her. But you know, when she was heartbroken, she went to the right place. She went to the house of the Lord looking for God's help. But the more important thing here is that Hannah knows where can she find help. But also Elkanah wasn't absent. He looked, he was attending, he was watching her wife. And he knew that she was suffering. And he didn't turn it away, he was worried for her. And was one other way to show his love for her. And he says, why are you weeping? Let me see, I got it here. See? And verse 8 says, her husband Elkanah will say to her, Hannah, why you are weeping? Why you are in eating? Why you are downhead? Don't I mean more to you than 10 sons? This is, the Bible doesn't say here, but when I read this Bible verse, I can imagine the background of this Bible verse. And I see a woman who maybe in his moment alone, he said, oh, I love so much this man Elkanah that I wish to give you a son. And because he maybe is not happy, but he's not showing to me because he don't want me to be sad. But Lord, I want that not just for him, for me, and have a happy family. And she was crying. And I see also a man who has the whole power, but he doesn't care and say, oh, I'm going to make everything possible that she can forget that she cannot have babies. That she can forget about other people and make her happy. And make all the sacrifices, make everything in order that she can be well. Like he said there, I have been doing a lot of sacrifices. I've been doing everything. Can you don't take all those sacrifices? Even better than having a teen child for me. Because I've been giving my life to you. Because you are the life of my heart. You see, it is a mutual submission, mutual respect. Both love each other. They both came to the Lord and asking for something, one for the other. He said, I don't need a child. And she said, I want to give you because I love you. You know, sometimes when we are in relationships, we're passing for hard times, difficult times. Difficult time because humans are the most difficult creation of the world. We are so difficult, complex. But in those moments, and when we need to work hard and show what really is love, what real love really is. Because all expecting difficulties in their relationship. Remember when you were a teenager, you have your best friend, and you said, you are my best friend forever. How you call BF, best friend forever. And they betray you, and you start crying. Oh, I mean, when you get married with a high expectation, when you get married, you see those little things that you don't see before, and you say, oh, I can stand in here with this. Wow, those are the moments when we need to show what we really are. Show what love is. And Elkanah and Hannah, they have a really difficult relation situations there. They can have a child. She can be bullied by the other women in town. Maybe people talk back to him. But they went where? To the house of the Lord. Every year, Elkanah went to the temple to pay his vows to the Lord. Every single year, Hannah went to the house of the Lord to praise her need. And verse 9 and 10, this is wonderful. It says, once they had finished eating, drinking in Shiloh, Hannah stood up. Now Eli, the priest, was sitting on his chair by the door of the lower house. In her deep anguish, Hannah prayed to the Lord, weeping bitterly. Hannah requests this. She was crying. You know, Eli, if you read the story, you know the story. He think that she was drunk and said, I'm not drunk. Forgive me, please. I'm not drunk. My heart is so broken. I want to give a child to my husband. But you know, if the Lord even give me a child, I'm not going to enjoy with our family. We're going to give him back. I just want to see the smile of my husband when he has his own child in his arm. But you know, when you give it those, that special moment, we give him back to the Lord. Because Hannah requested not just a selfish request. She wants to make happy her husband. Her husband also wants to be happy with her. She wants to regain his dignity, but she also wants to bless her husband with a male son. She wants their name of his house to be a high respect. But the most important thing, they know where to go in a difficult moment. Verse 11 says, when she made a vow, saying, Lord Almighty, if you will only look at your servant misery and remember me, and not forget your servant, but give her a son, then I will give him to the Lord for all the days of his life, and no razor will ever be used in his head. It's a wonderful thing that if we want a long relationship, the Lord has to be, God has to be the Lord of that relationship. When we have trouble, we need to go back to the Lord for his help. We need to respect one another. We need to submit one each other. And I have one little question. If you want to raise your hand and answer, it's up to you. You don't have to. But what can you ask to the Lord today? See, Hannah said, I need a child in order to make happy my husband, in order to get back my dignity, in order to make my marriage strong. I don't know what happened with you. You know, the statistics says that the divorce come for financials, communications. Those are the first two causes of divorce. Some other times are how can we raise our kids? How can we do things? I don't know. What can be something that is difficult to deal? But we know that where we can go for help. But once, when we came to the Lord, and we make vows to him, Lord, help me with here. If you can help me with this, or you can give me, some people say, if you can give me this job, I will back to church and give my tithing and offering. Well, don't forget that promise. Don't forget that promise. Because this is what Hannah and Elkanah did. They fulfilled their promise to God. Elkanah and his wife took agreement, and that approved by both of them. They get an agreement. Okay, Elkanah says, hey, Hannah, What are you doing? Oh, I'm going to go to the temple and I'm going to ask God to give me our children, a child for you, a male child, and then we can be together. Okay, I understand. And then God provides. Oh, isn't that wonderful when God responds or answers our requests positively? Wow, we enjoy it. And remember what Hannah, the condition of her was she was sterile. She has one chance in a million to have a baby, and she has it. But her promise was, once that I got the baby, I will give it away to the Lord, isn't it? You know how difficult it was for her to have a baby? And then take it away. Oh, he starts crying. He starts saying, Mama, Mama, Papa. And she has to give it back. But she did. Verse 21 said, when her husband Elkanah went up with all his family to offer the annual sacrifice to the Lord and to fulfill his vow, Hannah did not go. She said to her husband, after the boys went in, I will take him and present him before the Lord, and he will live there always. And then 23 said, do what seems best to you. Her husband Elkanah told her, stay here until you have wedded him. Only make the Lord make good his word. You know, her husband has the authority to say, no, this is my child. Now he brings honor to my name. You cannot take that boy anywhere. You keep that boy here. The Lord can have many childs in their temple, but this is mine. But they got in agreement to honor God, what they said before to him. Yes, my children not belong to us. Our children belong to God. And this is another teaching for us as a family. Our children are not our property. Our children belong to God. And we need to respect our children. But just to conclude, the mutual respect and mutual respect and voluntary submission, inclusion of God, in the midst of any adversity, make decisions that honor God, strengthen us as a couple, and fulfill our promises to God and to our spouse. It will make our relationship strong and can be forever. I want to walk maybe through that door the day when it's my 110-year birthday, holding my aunt's wife, my lovely 100 years old wife. Both came to church. Or maybe walking to heaven with the Lord. But I want to do it together. Because we make one promise one day in the altar. I will make my day for you. And she said, and I will do it for you too. And that's why we have to build our relationship with God as a center of our matrimony, as a center of our family. Honor one each other and respect our differences too. And then we have a long haul together. And I think that's what God wants from us too. Let's read Ephesians chapter 5:33. 1, 2, 3. Amen. We can. Some people like to put some tattoos in the arm. You can put that in your back. See, this is what I believe about marriage. I'm glad that you are here today. And those commitments is not just for a spouse's relationship. Remember, those are principles that we need to apply in everything that we do. We respect other people, even if they are different or difficult people to be in relationship. Not everyone is easy, isn't it? I know many people are difficult. I was one of them before. But, you know, God has given us something that many people don't have, and that is mercy. And mercy is showing in a practical way when we respect others. Because we start understanding why they're acting like that. And we respect that, and that's when we show love. Amen? Let's pray.